Cape Northumberland in the year 1800, the commander of the Royal Navy armed brig Lady Nelson saw and named the first places on the South Australian mainland. Among them was Mount Gambier. Today it's a thriving agricultural area and has grown into a popular holiday resort, with visitors from all over the world coming to view its lovely lakes and unusual volcanic features. Early settlers drew their water supply from this volcanic cave, situated in the center of the township. In those days, water was transported on bullock-drawn sledges and sold by the barrel. Now, however, the cave is the outlet for floodwaters, and a delightful rockery has been planted around it. Mount Gambier is rich in stone quarries, and in the immediate locality there are prolific outcrops of coralline limestone. Geologists believe that these were formed millions of years ago, when this part of South Australia erupted out of the sea. The soft white stone is ideal for building purposes. Sawn out of the earth with peg-tooth saws, it's delivered to building lots. They are to be cut into convenient shape and size. Most of Mount Gambier's attractive homes have been built from this stone. More than two-thirds of South Australia's forests are situated in the southeast. Though planting of softwoods was not commenced until early in the 20th century, current acreage of pine forest is about 80,000. The South Australian government's present planting program provides for a steady increase of 3,000 acres annually, the ultimate aim being 100,000 acres of softwood forests. Annual production in sawmills in Mount Gambier and nearby districts totals more than 6 million feet of seasoned sawn timber. There is very little waste. Offcuts are used for factory boilers and firewood, whilst forest thinnings are dispatched to the cellulose mills. They are to be transformed into paper board. Tourists may enjoy excellent fishing on the beautiful Benelg River. In the summer season, pleasure cruises are arranged. Among many other diversions for the visitor is the local rodeo. Australian Aboriginals are among the competitors, pitting their lariat throwing and riding talents against the local champions. Fat steers give spectators a thrill as they throw their riders. And horses, especially bred for buck jumping, pit their wits against expert horsemen. The horses know as many tricks as their riders and usually win. Riding buck jumpers is risky fun, as the slow-motion camera clearly shows. This modern home is situated in one of Mount Gambier's fertile farming areas. On these lush pastures are bred fine sheep, yielding to the stock farmer rich wool clips. This little girl learns early to tend stock. The lamb seems to like it. As this typical farmer and his attractive wife look on with amusement. Herds of fine Hereford cattle provide prime beef for Australian tables, or find their way to the freezing works for export to Britain. Dairy farming is one of the most important industries, and has been fostered by the formation of cooperative butter and cheese factories. About 2,000 tons of first-quality cheese is annually exported. Within a radius of 6 miles of Mount Gambier is an extensive tract of rich volcanic soil, where a consistent rainfall of 30 inches per annum ensures productive farming. In this belt of land, the most extensive crop growing is pursued. Here, as well as potatoes and onions, cereals of all kinds are grown. The majority of holdings are planted with oats, some used for oaten chaff, and some reserved to supply the mills, which produce rolled oats for the breakfast table. In recent years, shortages of foreign supplies provoked experiments in flax growing. These proved so successful that a mill was constructed locally to process the crop. Wheat is also grown, though only for local usage as stock feed. Mount Gambier's famous lakes were first discovered in 1839 by Stephen Henty, whose stockman later erected a bark hut on the site of this memorial cairn. Stephen Henty was also the first white man to climb to the summit of Mount Gambier. The thrill he must have felt when he reached the peak and saw the magnificent vista of lakes below can be readily appreciated. The Valley Lake is a popular bathing rendezvous, and Mount Gambier residents and visitors splash happily in its clear waters, set in the shadow of the towering walls of an extinct volcano. No stay at Mount Gambier would be complete without a visit to Dingley Dell, the little cottage once occupied by the poet Adam Lindsay Gordon, whose love of the Australian countryside inspired many of his poetic works. Gordon is said to have spent some of the happiest days of his life at Dingley Dell, amid the wattle and within sound of the ocean. Although generally remembered for his poems, Gordon also made a name for himself as a Member of Parliament and an outstanding horseman. High above the banks of the glorious Blue Lake stands an obelisk to the memory of Gordon's famous leap. Near this spot, Gordon jumped his horse to a narrow ledge on the steep lakeside. Had his horse lost his foothold, he would have taken a 300-foot plunge into the lake below. Accused of boasting, Gordon later repeated his performance. This picturesque old stone wall and lookout tower were built by enthusiastic residents in one day and have enhanced the natural beauty of the famous Blue Lake surroundings. This lake changes from its normal deep blue to a brilliant cerulean blue towards the close of every year, regardless of prevailing climatic conditions, then slowly resumes its normal color. Although many theories have been advanced to account for this phenomenal color change, science has not yet succeeded in probing its secrets. The pumping station on the Blue Lake provides Mount Gambier with its water supply, which is said to be one of the purest in the world. And so from the violent eruptions of millions of years ago has emerged a scene of peace and exquisite beauty.